Make that 5 wins in 5 maximum points and top of the Premier League. Mikel Arteta's Arsenal were too strong for Aston Villa, with standout performances from the likes of Sambula Conga. As per, let's break the game down, but also transfer deadline day is upon us and Arsenal are looking active. So today we have something special, the 5 things we learnt as well as some transfers FC. Yo, what is going on guys? My name is Babs14 and welcome back to your boys channel. As per, don't forget to smash a like and subscribe if you are new. And now that transfer deadline day is here, if you guys want to see a deadline day live stream, comment down below. But let's start off with Arsenal 2, Aston Villa 1. And the first thing that stood out to me straight away was that Albert Sambula Conga stepped up. This game was a massive test for Arsenal to pass, because last season when Arsenal had key injuries in midfield to players like Thomas Partey, the rest of the Arsenal team collapsed and ultimately it was a massive reason why Arsenal missed out on Champions League. Today there was no Zinchenko, no Partey, no Elneny, and that is where enter Albert Sambula Conga, who had a fantastic performance in your boys' opinion. We are talking a 93% passing accuracy, 2 fouls won, and winning 100% of his ground duels. Playing as that number 6, this was a very simple yet very effective performance. And ultimately I think Arteta gave him the right environment to thrive in this game, because when you look into Arsenal's passing networks, it's a thing of absolute beauty. Everyone is fantastically spaced out and the key players that are on the ball are William Saliba, Ben White and Granit Xhaka. Last season in too many games when Sambi played as a 6, he was almost left on an island, whereas in this game the likes of Xhaka, Saliba, Ben White were a lot closer and gave him a lot more options. There was also a little change Arteta made in the build-up phase, where he moved Ben White back into the back three alongside Saliba and Gabriel, and instead of having Xhaka in the half space, he was a lot closer to Sambi, almost forming a midfield pivot. Not only does that maximise Kieran Tierney playing a lot higher on the left hand side, but he also gave Sambi a partner in midfield which allowed him to thrive. In fact, in terms of the game, Sambi was the highest ranked Arsenal player in terms of progressive passes, making a total of 6. This was the prime opportunity for Sambi to show to Mikel Arteta he is able to deputise as a number 6 and keep the level of this Arsenal team. I also have to give massive praise to Granit Xhaka, who was fantastic in the sense of helping out Sambi in the pivots, but also going forwards. He was playing 1-2s, breaking into the box. But I think the role of Xhaka in this Arsenal team to function as it is very underrated, and even in terms of today, he had the most amount of touches of any Arsenal player. The centre backs were also fantastic in terms of their ball distribution. Saliba and Ben White are the key parts of the build-up phase, but on the left hand side, Gabriel, he had a 96% passing accuracy, I think the highest of any of the Arsenal players, and his long ball over the top for Martinelli in the second Arsenal goal is very important. And I think off the ball and on the ball, this game the Arsenal centre backs were all flawless. But the second thing we learnt was Mikel Arteta's finisher subs. Being only up by 1 goal is a very dangerous lead, and no matter who you're playing against, other teams now have too much quality, and Aston Villa in the second half came out stronger, caused more threats. And when they scored directly from a corner, there were some questions, especially over Aaron Ramsdale. Conceding directly from a corner is not something that you see often. That being said, Douglas Luiz, the goal scorer, has done it twice already in this season. But I also think Ramsdale is a little bit unlucky because he is being impeded, and I think most times the way keepers are protected, you would have expected VAR to overturn the goal. But the game was made 1-1 and we were into I think the final 10 minutes of the game. There was a question asked of this Arsenal team, can they respond? And respond they did in the matter of just 2 minutes via Gabriel Martinelli. And here you have some numbers of 2, 1, 8 and 3. These are the number of minutes it has taken Arsenal to score from after conceding each of their 4 goals this season. It's a sign of resilience and a sign of inner belief that when the going gets tough, we are able to respond. But after going up 2-1, it was time for Mikel Arteta to confirm the results. It was time to summon up the 5-3-2 and Rob Holding. Holding himself after the game says, "Did someone say 5-3-2? Always happy to help the team get the dub." When I saw Holding coming off the bench, I knew the game was over. This Arsenal team can play great football going forwards. They can dominate games, they can sustain pressure, they can counter press. But in that same armoury, Arsenal also have one of the best defensive low blocks in the Premier League, something they can turn to in tough moments, and it's not something that you see often from the best of best teams, as they only have one way of playing. Alongside Rob Holding, you also have to give a lot of credit to Eddie Nketiah. The way that he was driving with the ball, providing Arsenal an outlet, not only was it relieving pressure, but also showcasing a player that is so confident. It's getting to the stage now where I kind of feel a little bit sorry. He deserves some extra minutes, and if it isn't from the start, then maybe Arteta throws Nketiah in off the bench a bit earlier. Rob Holding and Eddie Nketiah are the prime examples of Mikel Arteta's so-called finisher subs, players that Arteta can turn to in the latter moments of games to come off the bench to finish the game and, most importantly, collect all 3 points. The third thing that we learnt is the front three clicks. Gabriel Jesus was at it again, showcasing Arsenal fans why he's so special. He has now been directly involved in 6 goals in his first 5 Premier League appearances for Arsenal, a club record in the competition, overtaking Mesut Ozil with 5. The goal was fantastic and it showcased him being a fox in the box, but also what's so impressive is his strength. The way that he knocked off Tyrone Mings in that first half like he was nothing when he's a 6'6" centre back was amazing. Every time the ball goes in the air and there is a 50-50 to be won, Jesus has the ability to make something out of nothing. But on the topic of Gabriels, we can't forget the match winner Martinelli. With an 83% passing accuracy, 6 ground duels won, 3 successful dribbles, 2 accurate long balls, 2 key passes and 1 goal. His 3rd goal of the season, and he really also should have had an assist. Another fantastic performance, and what we're seeing from Martinelli is his ability to play under contact, something that he seems to be learning from Gabriel Jesus. Every time you see defenders try to enter duels or physically impose themselves on the player, Martinelli is bouncing them off like they're nothing. Bukayo Saka didn't score a goal, but he did get an assist. And yes, he should have scored a goal and it was a massive miss. But this idea that Bukayo is too tired or playing poorly, I disagree. I think things aren't working out for him, but in terms of this game as well, 5 out of 5 dribbles, I think 2 or 3 key passes, and also getting an assist. If this is Bukayo Saka playing at his worst, then how good is he going to be at his best? The fourth thing is the lacking the killer mentality. Arsenal racked up 2.96 XG compared to Villa's 0.36. I mean, the stats show it perfectly. This was a very dominant Arsenal performance. More possession, more shots, nearly double the final third entries. Arsenal actually racked up a higher XG in this game than even Man City could in their 6-0 win over Nottingham Forest. But before the game, there was a quote from Steven Gerrard in his pre-game press conference where he mentioned the fact that Arsenal gave opposition teams this moment, and that moment is the 45th to the 60th minute. Arsenal aren't as aggressive in their pressing and there's a clear drop off in terms of intensity, and that was the case once again in this game. And yes, they might have only had 4 shots on goal, but we still lack a bit of, I guess, killer mentality that when we are on top and we're making the best chances, that we make it 2-0, 3-0 and finish the game there and then. But the fifth thing is this a new Arsenal? 5 Premier League games, 5 wins, 13 goals scored, 4 conceded, and top of the Premier League. Mikel Arteta becomes the 11th manager in Premier League history to win the first 5 games of a season. And even though I wasn't at the ground today, hearing the stadium from the TV, it was electrifying. Arsenal fans are so loud, so vibrant. The prospect of playing at Arsenal with a fully packed Emirates Stadium, with the fans united with the players, and the players doing their thing on the pitch. The Emirates is becoming somewhat of a fortress, I guess almost a bit similar to the Etihad and maybe Anfield. But as Mikel Arteta says on how he wants to maintain Arsenal's winning start, prepare the next one, go to Old Trafford and focus on the performance, playing well and earn the right to win the game. If we are able to go to Old Trafford, put in a performance and collect all 3 points, that is the statement win I think this Arsenal team needs. But let's move on to the Arsenal transfer news. Deadline day is upon us and Transfers FC is heating up. Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that Ainsley Maitland-Niles is set to become a new player of Southampton, as Arsenal extend his contract until 2024 and then loan him out with a buy option. With Maitland-Niles out of the door, Arsenal are looking to be active, as Mikel Arteta says that we are a bit short in midfield. We are looking at options in the market, and if the right player is available and we can do it, we will try. The midfield is definitely a massive concern. In terms of Thomas Partey, after the game, Arteta wasn't able to confirm when he expects for Partey to be back. Even though Sambula was fantastic, I still think Arsenal need a bit of extra quality in midfield, and that might be in the form of Palmeiras' midfielder Danilo Arsenal. As Sammy Mockbell confirms that Arsenal are working on a deal for Palmeiras midfielder Danilo ahead of tomorrow's deadline. A very exciting prospect and can play as a number 6 as well as a number 8. Arsenal are making their move, and according to Fabrizio Romano of Goal Brazil, Arsenal have made a £20 million bid for the Palmeiras midfielder. However, the offer will be rejected and Arsenal will be told to pay his £100 million release clause. There's no chance that Arsenal spend £100 million, but in terms of their first offer, they have made it. I think Palmeiras are playing hard to get here and every player has a price tag. If Arsenal could offer an extra £5, maybe £10 million, then I have a feeling Palmeiras might accept. So it looks like Danilo is the midfielder they want to sign, but if it is the case where Arsenal can't agree a deal, is their alternative going to be Aston Villa's Douglas Luiz? As according to Thiago Fernandes of Goal Brazil, Villa won't put much effort into keeping Douglas Luiz if an offer arrives. They are prepared to accept an offer between 12 to 15 million euros for him ahead of tomorrow's deadline. The same player that scored against Arsenal today, could he be our brand new midfielder? Has only got 1 year left on his Aston Villa contract, a player that Arsenal have previously been linked to. He can play as a number 6, he isn't too expensive, and he's also worked under Arteta in the past during his time at Man City. After the game, he was having a secret little conversation with Arsenal forward Gabriel Jesus. There's also been some unconfirmed rumours and whispers that the agent of Luiz was actually at the game today. According to Keith Downey of Sky Sports, Youri Tielemans is available if a club meets Leicester's asking price before the deadline, namely £25 million as per Rob Dorset of Sky Sports. So it looks like Leicester have lowered their asking price of Youri Tielemans, and it is definitely an affordable transfer that so many fans will see as a bargain. Even though Arsenal have their eyes set on more of a number 6 type of profile like Danilo, Arsenal have agreed personal terms with the player, so if they make a deadline day offer, then a transfer becomes very possible. Fabrizio Romano says that Arsenal have not opened talks with Shakhtar for Mykhailo Mudryk. Arsenal follow Mudryk and had contacts on the player side, but there's no bid or any advanced negotiations. Brentford also wants him, but talks with Shakhtar are really complicated. If Arsenal are going to sign that wide forward on deadline day, it looks like the player is going to be Mykhailo Mudryk. But when it comes to Edu Gaspar and deadline days, you can never know what's going to happen. 2020 it was Thomas Partey, 2021 it was Takehiro Tomiyasu. Who is it going to be in 2022? We are going to have to wait and see. But that's the video there, so hopefully you have enjoyed, and if you have, don't forget to smash a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to follow your boy on all of the social medias, then the links are down below in the description. But that was today's episode of the 5 things we learnt plus the transfers ever see, and deadline day is upon us, and are Arsenal gonna sign some more players or any players? Well, my friends, the day has arrived and Arsenal, it is over to you. Anyways, I'll see you next time, maybe live. Until then, in a bit.